tell me why I'm all alone. Somebody 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 tell me why.
Good evening, South Tama Trojan fans. Welcome to another night of basketball here from the STC Round House. I'm Darvin Graham. I'm joined by my co-host for the evening, Keith Kiana. Keith, how are you tonight?
I'm doing really good, Darvin. Happy to be back on the call with you again tonight for some really good basketball with Williamsburg and South Tama.
Absolutely. Williamsburg coming in, the WaMaC West leading team. They're up by, I think, at least 2 or 3 games against the WaMaC West. And South Tama looking for their 3rd win of the season. It's been another tough campaign for STC this year. But we have seen kind of streaks of improvement, streaks of brilliance, even at times by some of the South Tama players, but have yet to be able to kind of put it together for a full 4 quarters and compete outside of a couple of 1A matchups that came early in the season. So that's what kind of we'll be looking for tonight. We'll see how South Tama kind of comes out. And this is a tough time. You know it yourself as a former player, having gone through 4 years of basketball at South Tama. This is a tough time to be playing, especially if things aren't going well. What do you remember from this January period as you're waiting for a lot of teams waiting for the postseason? A lot of teams kind of already they know they're going to face a pretty uphill battle. What are your thoughts from that time?
From that time, I think the main time I think about is 2019 January, my senior year, when we didn't win a game that entire season, and it was tough. There was a lot of mental lapses going on, a lot of low confident times, but to get through it, what I remember doing is just playing hard every game, just taking it at practice, going hard. Just trying to keep the confidence up, because it is hard in a game setting when you're not winning. But if you just know you leave it all out there, it's just a good energy boost and good confidence builder, and even if you're not winning. But
yeah, each night kind of a new opportunity for the players, from South Tama's end, where they're going to be a heavy underdog in most of the WaMaC contests they're going to play. Despite that, always looking to win, of course, but always an opportunity to improve. And so that will be part of the focus for the Trojans tonight. We've had the conclusion of the Frosh game. South Tama lost in that one to Williamsburg. And we've got varsity players warming up on the court. And we are about 10.5 minutes away from tip-off here at the Roundhouse. Meanwhile, the girls are over in Williamsburg tonight, taking on the Raiders. We'll have a check-in a few times with that game. And give you some updates there if you want to keep up with what's going on in the girls' varsity game. And, yeah, we're excited to get the week started off. We're going to have basketball again back here on Trojan Country on Friday. It's going to be Clear Creek and Manna in another WaMaC Conference matchup. We're going to have the girls' game live from the STC Round House right here. And the boys will be over at Clear Creek and Manna High School to play that game there. So lots of action, and it's getting to be an exciting time of the year as well. This is the first year of girls state wrestling sanctioned by the girls union, and it's already state wrestling time, believe it or not, for all these girls programs across the state of Iowa. South Tama sending 3 wrestlers to the state tournament this year. 2 of them returning from last year's state tournament, but this year as the first sanctioned season. It's a different format, different kind of a qualifying situation than there was last year, and a really successful season for South Tama. So we've got 3 girls headed to Coralville to compete at the Extreme Arena on Thursday and Friday, and they're raring to go. We talked to them earlier today and got a little interview. We're going to play that at halftime and kind of get you teed up for what's going on with our girls wrestling program. and their competition coming up later this week. So we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we will give you your starters and break down this matchup here a little bit between South Tama and Williamsburg. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to Trojan Country.
excuses, the pointless views. We all need something to blame. And when all is said and done, you wonder why you're here if you won. Well, all things have a meaning, and all things have a time. We all just reasons without a rhyme. Yeah. Without rhyme or reason,
Located in the heart of corn and cattle country, Iowa Premium procures and processes only corn-fed Black Angus cattle that come hand-selected from family farms in Iowa and neighboring states. As Tama County's largest employer, the team at Iowa Premium are an anchor, not only in the beef industry, but throughout eastern and central Iowa. Iowa Premium, a national beef company. Medicap Pharmacy in Toledo offers free medication packaging and free delivery to surrounding areas. With convenient drive-up service and hours on Saturday morning, Medicap Pharmacy is always there for you. Visit with pharmacist Derek Townsend and his team by calling 484-6198 or stop by their location across from Fairway in Toledo. Medicap Pharmacy, locally owned and expertly operated. All right, welcome back in live from the STC Round House. It's basketball night here in Tama, Iowa. South Tama and Williamsburg set to face off in boys varsity action. The girls over in Williamsburg getting ready for their game as well. We're going to go down and give you the starters first for this Williamsburg team. Talk a little bit about the Raiders.
So for the starters tonight, number 15, Landon Jepson, a 6'4" senior guard. Number 21, Maddox Daherman, a 5'9" senior guard. Trey O'Neill, 6'2" senior guard. Number 23. Number 24, Derek Weisskopf, a junior, 6'4" guard forward. And number 33, Kellen Cockrell, a 6'6" forward and a junior.
So Williamsburg coming in 12-3. Their head coach is Bradley Knoop. He's assisted by Brian O'Neill, Mike Vanetton, Josh Bray, and Mike Jacobson. They come in with 3 players averaging double figures. Derek Weisskopf, the leading scorer. He did not play against South Tama the last time around these two teams faced each other. He comes in averaging just over 17 points per game. And then Jepson and Ethan Harmon come in averaging just over 11 points per game. The losses for Williamsburg this year have been to Xavier, West Delaware, and Waverly Shellrock. A couple of ranked teams in that group there. And Williamsburg not ranked themselves despite being top of the WaMaC West by a few games even. I think they could be a very tough team come postseason time. Keith, what are your thoughts about this Williamsburg group?
For me, I look at Derek Weisskopf. He's a 6'4" junior, but he's an athletic kid. He's already committed to Iowa for football, so we'll see what he's able to do. And he's also a really an all-state track and field competitor. He was a state. I watched him win the state track meet down in Des Moines last year in the high jump when he jumped 6'7", but he is a 6'9" high jumper. So he is a pretty athletic guy. And number 33, Callan Cockrell, he'll definitely have the height advantage, being with his 6'6" frame.
And last time around, South Tama took a loss 68-38. That was in December. And Williamsburg limited the South Tama to 4 points in the first quarter. We'll see how the Trojans kind of come out in this first half and see if it'll be any different with the Trojans at home tonight. Landon Jepson had a big game in that one. He had 30 points. Kellen Cockrell had 14 points coming off the bench for the Raiders. And South Tama, meanwhile, was led by Wyatt Capeu with 13 and Ivan Alvarado with 10. And quickly, if you can give us our South Tama starters as we have the starters announced on the court here.
So for South Tama, a junior guard, number 2, 5'6", Cade Rosenberger, 5'10", junior forward, number 5, Daniel Weiss, 6' senior guard, number 20, Pella Weiss, a 6-foot center, senior number 44, Damian Benner, and a 6-foot junior center, number 50, Jeremy Dolash.
South Tama coming in with a 2-14 record. Their head coach is Dustin Pesca. He's assisted by Nathan Dorn. Last time out, the Trojans lost 71-47 against Vinton Schellsburg. That was last Friday. And coming into tonight's matchup, Trojans are led by Ivan Alvarado. He's averaging 12.8 points per game. And the STC roster tonight, we do have, it does appear that Alvarado, along with Kingston Davenport and Wyatt Capeu, who have each seen starting time, they're with the team tonight. Appears they are available, they're dressed, but not in the starting lineup. So we'll see how maybe they're sitting out for a period or two. But we'll see how they fit into the mix against Williamsburg here tonight. So it's going to be kind of the two bigs underneath. South Tama is going to give it a little bit of speed with Dolash and Benner both at the post to start. Again, it's really going to boil down to the two returners, Cade Rosenberger, Daniel Weiss. They've been the leaders of this group this season, and it's going to fall to them as the leaders here tonight on the court, I think. So. All right, we're going to have our national anthem, and our tip-off will be right back. You're listening to Trojan Country. Sharn Weber's in Toledo serves central and northeast Iowa with the latest in heating and cooling systems, water softeners, plumbing and electrical installation, as well as expert service and repair. As a family-owned hallmark business from the South Tama community, Sharn Weber's is proud to support Trojan spirit on the field, on the stage, on the court, or in the classroom. When the job needs done, call Sharn Weber's at 800-542-7980. All right, we're ready for tip-off here at the Round House. It's going to be Jeremy Dolash and Kellen Cockrell for Williamsburg in the center. And it's going to be the Raiders to start with the ball. This Trey O'Neill from the point. Now left to Landon Jepson. Raiders working it around the perimeter here a little bit. Cockrell at the high post. Back to O'Neill, guarded by Rosenberger. Weiskopf, baseline jumper is good. Derek Weiskopf scores first for the Raiders. Easy looking jumper.
Made that look really effortless.
Here's Cade Rosenberger from the left side, guarded by O'Neill. Now Dolash in the post, back out to Rosenberger. Benner catches it near the top of the key. Rosenberger, open look, three-pointer, off the back of the rim. Raiders ball.
It's a good first possession by South Tama. They got the ball moving, got the ball down to the post, in the high post.
Decent looking shot for Rosenberger.
Really good, decent open look.
Just about maintaining that kind of focus, and when things kind of don't go as planned to still continue the plan the next time down the court rather than letting things snowball. Here's Trey O'Neal with the ball, top of the key. Jepson pump fakes, picks it up, shoves it over to Dorman. Weisskopf from the corner, 3. It's good. 5 points for Derek Weisskopf, and he's off and running here against South Tama. Press defense coming from the Raiders. Cade Rosenberger dumps it over to Pella Weiss. 3-pointer. Great athletic move there by Daniel Weiss to save the possession, but it was Trey O'Neal who kind of was at the right place at the right time, threw it. I think the officials are going to call it last touch by Williamsburg. Might have got a lucky call there. It looked like it went off of South Tama at the end, but maybe he was out of bounds. Rosenberger trying to direct traffic. Now Weiss, back to Rosenberger. Screen from Benner. Get more ball movement here. Just trying to take a deliberate approach. Kick ball against Jepson, and that will just put the ball out of bounds.
Right now, there's not a lot of moving without the ball going on by the Trojans. They're kind of like getting all in one area there.
Weiss charges into the lane. Bank shot is good.
Nice strong take by Daniel.
Right at Weisskopf. First points for the Trojans.
If you're going to take it to, if you're going to drive on a bigger guy, go right at him.
Yep.
And that's exactly what Daniel did.
Maddox Dorman for 3.
Three possessions, 3 buckets for Williamsburg.
Here's Daniel Weiss getting a screen from Dolash. Backs it off. Gets it out to Rosenberger. Pella Weiss, 3-pointer. Open look, but Pella Weiss has been struggling from long distance. I think you could safely say that from previous games. And as Lucius Baer is going to check into the game for the Trojans. So we might not see Alvarado, Capello, and Davenport until mid-game, if at all. 3-pointer by Weisskopf is off the mark. O'Neal, 3, no good. Dolash the rebound, and 4 minutes and 30 seconds to go. Trojans nursing a 6-point deficit. Need to find some points here, though. You think just off-the-ball movement is kind of the prescription here, Keith, for South Tama to?
Yes, absolutely. If everybody's moving, the offense will move in a good flow. And so far in the game, when they have been doing that, the offense has been flowing pretty well. But a few times they've just been standing around watching.
Yep.
As Wyatt Capello is now at the scores table getting ready to check in.
Grant Dorman just checked into the game a moment ago, one of the other post players. He was a starter in the last game, coming off the bench today. And Weisskopf tried to get it to the corner and just kind of overthrew his target. He thought Trojan player tipped it out of bounds, but it'll be out of bounds on Williamsburg. And a steal by O'Neal. Cockrell, the loose ball, scramble. He gets picked up by Daniel Weiss. Trojans keep it on their end. Here's Dolash. They work it around the horn to Baer. I like to see Cade move in there. Weiss into the lane again. Got a sweet-looking bank shot, Daniel Weiss. He does like to go to that, and
that is his bread and butter, driving the lane and getting that nice little bank shot in the paint.
Capello into the game for Benner now. Open look for Maddox Dorman again from the corner. Grant Dorman, the putback, and it's good for 2. Gavin Dorming, excuse me, not Grant. Capeyu is going to get whistled for a 10-second backcourt violation.
Kind of got trapped there in the middle of the court. He had a lot of open court to the left side. I don't think he's just really confident with his left hand there.
Jepson, O'Neal, long three, and it's a rebound by Daniel Weiss. Raiders gonna pull back into the half court. Let South Tama walk it in. Dolash from the high post. Now Capeyu down underneath. Loose ball tipped away to Daniel Weiss, and Weiss connects from three. He's been the go-to for STC, bringing it back to within 3. All 7 points coming from Daniel Weiss here in the first quarter. We'll be right back after this.
2022 marks the 95th year in business for the State Bank of Toledo since opening in 1927. The State Bank of Toledo is Trojan Country's hometown bank, supporting its customers with loyal, friendly, and fair customer service. With 2 convenient locations, a full-service investment center, 24-hour ATM service, and online banking, you can't go wrong making State Bank of Toledo your financial services choice. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Coming out of the timeout, South Tama will be trailing 10-7. What do you look for here, Keith, as we get to the tail end of this first quarter? South Tama trying to climb back into this one.
On the offense, I think they just need to continue to run the offense, move the ball, move without the ball. It's just get the offense moving a little bit. And then on defense, hand up on the shooters. Right now we're doing a nice job contesting the three-point shot like we didn't do against CCA or Independence very well. So getting hand up on the shooters, since Williamsburg likes to shoot a lot of threes. So
yep,
that's going to be key on defense.
Last few times down the court have felt a little more, the defense has felt a little more competitive. There's a steal by Lucius Bear right in the mid-court. And South Tama with another possession here. They can tie it up with a 3, but I say take whatever shot's available.
Yes.
It's going to be a long 4 quarters here tonight. But I do like the deliberate approach. Bear trying to kind of sling it in low. It gets tipped away. Loose ball picked up by Dolash. He hands it off to Capeyu. Capeyu just unlucky at the rim. Didn't quite fall the right way, and now the Raiders throw it away. It was O'Neal trying to get to Gavin Dorman underneath, and it went out to the cheerleaders.
It's a few times now Williamsburg was rushed.
Yep.
I think they like to get out and run, and that can lead to turnovers like that.
Kingston Davenport checks in for STC. Davenport has been a spark plug for this Trojans front court this season. Has had a couple of double-double games. Been a very aggressive rebounder despite being a little undersized at times underneath. Capeyu from the left charges into the lane. Can't get the finger roll to go. Raiders quickly moving it up the court. Dawson Furman into the game. Shot is off the mark. Capeyu the rebound.
Coach Pesca calling the plays out.
Bear from the right corner. Down low to Davenport. And he throws it away. Dorman, right place, right time, picks out the pass. And
I think there Kingston just needs to spin into the lane and lay that in.
yep, try for the foul at least. Williamsburg will try a 3 from Weisskopf. Jepson the putback and a foul. First foul of the game. Love to see a first quarter without any foul calls. And I feel like it's not been unfairly called either. It's
Pretty clean.
yeah, pretty clean first quarter. Landon Jepson at the line. Makes the first. Foul is going to go against Wyatt Capeu. Very different first quarter than what we saw in Williamsburg earlier in the season. It was like a 22-4 first quarter. This one looks to be much lower scoring. Last second shot from Capeu, not there. 12-7 will be the lead for Williamsburg as we head into quarter number 2. We'll be back after this. You're listening to Trojan Country.
As partners in the community, Salt Creek Wind Project is committed to supporting Tama County's growth in a way that benefits all residents. Construction on the project will bring hundreds of new opportunities for Tama County's workforce and will allow workers to gain valuable, transferable skills. Hundreds of millions of dollars in tax revenue generated by the project will help improve county services such as schools, roads, and emergency response. And the clean, emission-free power generated will support a more reliable delivery system in the county and beyond. To learn more about Salt Creek Wind or to join our coalition of supporters, visit saltcreekwindproject.com. S&S Car Wash provides both automatic and hand wash services as well as detailing for your vehicle. S&S Car Wash, your local car wash destination with convenient locations in Toledo and Tama.
There are a few under.
Gotcha. All right, coming back for quarter number 2 on the court for STC. It will be Kingston Davenport, Daniel Weiss, Cade Rosenberger, Wyatt Capeu, and Lucius Bear for the Raiders. Maddox Dorman, Kellen Cockrell, Trey O'Neill, Landon Jepson, and Dawson Furman. All 7 points. There's another near miss by Wyatt Capeu. Second shot from Bear is off the mark. All 7 points thus far have come from Daniel Weiss. And Weiss kind of alters the pass across court, slows things down. Gives South Tama a little moment to get into position. Here's Dorman. Going right, picks it up. Three-pointer is off the mark. O'Neill with the rebound.
He came soaring in to get that rebound.
Almost got swept out and underneath of him. Cockrell down low, getting around Capeu, finishing at the rim. Strong move there by the junior Kellen Cockrell. His first points tonight. Rosenberger to Bear. A little more movement here in the second quarter, feels like, from South Tama.
Oh.
And Wyatt Capeu will be called for an offensive foul. Kind of a push-off is what was called there against his defender, although...
Just trying to be aggressive there and get to the hoop.
So Bear and Capeu will go to the bench for Jeremy Dolash and Pella Weiss. Second personal against Capeu as he goes to the bench. And there's a bucket from Landon Jepson. His first field goal of the night. He's got 4 total. Trojans need a bucket here. It's been a bit of a scoring drought. Three-pointer from Daniel Weiss. And the rebound by Rosenberger. Davenport into the lane, kicks out to Rosenberger. Three-pointer, it's good. Trojans would love to get their junior point guard firing from long distance and connecting tonight. 6-point game. And Daniel Weiss swats it out of Cockrell's hands near the baseline. It stays with Williamsburg.
Down here on the offense side, the Trojans doing a nice job moving the ball again. That was one of the keys to the game, I think, tonight, and so far, so good.
Maddox Dorman not good on the three-pointer. A putback and an offensive rebound by Weiskopf. And then finally, it'll be a foul on Landon Jepson, who will head to the line. Foul's going to be on Jeremy Dolash, his first, team third. And Jepson now with 5 as he makes the first free throw. Davenport to the bench for South Tama. Damian Benner comes back on. Starters back on the court for STC. And Jepson good on both free throws. Trojans doing a nice job staying deliberate here in this second quarter. As Weiss telegraphed the pass a little too much, and the finish, the dunk by Derek Weiskopf. Raiders trying to push the lead here. Rosenberger flies into the lane, a little too hard at the rim. Weiskopf trying to respond. Layup, reversal, and a bucket. Timeout on the court.
Cruzy Phillips Funeral Home in Tama is locally owned and operated, serving Tama, Toledo, and the surrounding areas. Cruzy Phillips offers both traditional and cremation services at the time of need, as well as pre-planned arrangements that give you and your family peace of mind. Through competent professionalism, the staff at Cruzy Phillips Funeral Home serves families with compassion and respect for their needs and wishes. That's why they offer services with unique options and attention to every detail. Obituaries and funeral home information can be found online at cruzy-phillips.com or by calling 641-484-3400.
Out of the timeout now, South Tama trailing by 12. Biggest lead of the game. Off of a bit of a scoring run by Derek Weiskopf. 2 fast break, a dunk, and a layup. And some pressure now coming here on the defensive end. Good pass there from Weiss to Dolash, and Dolash finishes at the hoop. Ivan Alvarado into the game for STC. And Alvarado almost came away with a steal there, but it'll be a jump ball.
Alvarado did a nice job reading what Derek Weiskopf was about to do with that little jump through, and met him at the point and able to force the jump ball.
And Coach Knoop kind of arguing with the official a bit, but I think we're going to continue on. It'll remain Raiders ball.
Nice
Cockrell
pass
underneath. And he's strong at the hoop again.
The Raiders went high-low there with the high post, and it was just a nice bounce pass down low to Cockrell, and another Trojans turn over there.
So the pressure coming in the backcourt from the Raiders defense, kind of creating some havoc a little bit, and South Tama's responses have been few and far between so far. Trey O'Neill now with the ball from the right side. Gets a double team, gets it to Dorman. Dorman out to Weiskopf. Jumper, not quite there. Put back from Dorman is no good.
Oh,
And just a mental lapse there as Dolash couldn't quite get it to Weiss. Not a bad pass, just a bit of a hiccup. Gavin Dorman, jumper, airballed, loose ball, picked up by Wyatt Capeu. He goes to the dirt. He'll be called for traveling. He gets tripped.
Surprised there wasn't a foul there.
I would think that if he traveled, it would have had to happen before he tripped, but it's a lot of steps you have to take. And a jumper there for the Raiders. Who do you have that one on?
That was Weisskopf. He's now up to 11 here in the first half.
So here's Ivan Alvarado directing traffic a little bit. Cade Rosenberger getting a breather for the Trojans. Alvarado, three-pointer. Cockrell the rebound.
I think we need to move the ball a little bit more. That was just a little bit of a settle there by Alvarado.
And O'Neal finishes in the lane. Bank shot, and Williamsburg is going to take a timeout. And don't go anywhere at halftime. We're going to hear from our 3 state qualifying girls wrestlers. We had an interview with them earlier today. And going to check in with how their tournament last weekend went and what they've been up to this week as they prepare for their state tournament. That's coming up at halftime here in about 2.5 minutes. STC Pep Band in attendance as well, so crowd starting to filter in, but not a very well attended crowd for South Tama tonight. As always, encourage our Trojan fans to get out and support your South Tama teams. It's important and makes a huge difference when there's a big crowd as opposed to a pretty empty gym. And there's Daniel Weiss finding Wyatt Capeu underneath the hoop for 2.
And that time Wyatt was going to make sure he finished the layup.
Yep. Maddox Dorman from the top to Weisskopf. Back to Dorman. He'll try a 3. In and out. Cockrell, the putback, and it's good for 2.
Cockrell there just using that height and jumping ability to out-jump the Trojans for that rebound.
Alvarado quickly into the half court. Gets it to Capeu.
Right now, there's just a lot of standing going on right now.
Rosenberger for 3. Off the back of the rim. Loose ball picked up by Jepson. Fast break. He puts the brakes on. Give and go with Weisskopf. Weisskopf from the corner to Dorman down low. And that's where it's at for Williamsburg tonight, is these post matchups are really just killing South Tama. Yeah, it was Gavin Dorman on the bucket for Williamsburg there.
Williamsburg not only has the height, but the speed as well.
Yep.
They're moving the ball very quickly down there.
In Weisskopf and Cockrell, they've got two bigs that have a really nice touch at the hoop, and then with Dorman, a really physical, kind of a linebacker type that can kind of ground and pound a little bit against a front there's a steal by Daniel Weiss.
That's where South Tama has the advantage, those low passes, and you're able to just get down there that those bigger guys aren't able to corral. Looks like my hold for 1 here. Good. Coach Beska's telling him to back out.
And a timeout called. I'd like to say thank you to our sponsors this evening. They include Cruzy Phillips Funeral Home, Salt Creek Wind, State Bank of Toledo, Sharn Weber's, Marquess and Hoyer Law, SNS Car Wash, Medicamp Pharmacy, Iowa Premium, Mercy Care Tama, and the Tama Pump. It would appear Williamsburg not in their main gym this evening, but from what I can tell, it looks like the girls varsity game tied at 5 early in the first quarter. They're on a timeout at the moment. And yeah, that's the varsity. So 5-5 the score over on the girls' side. 5 seconds to go here in the first half for the boys. And that will do it. At the end of 2 quarters, South Tama trailing 32. And the official's going to kind of wind things back here a little bit. He's going to say there's 1.2 seconds left on the clock, so we are not going to the halftime locker room yet. Not just yet, anyway.
I believe the shot clock ran out before the game clock, so they will add 1 second. Big thing here for South Tama is just not to foul on the half-court heave, if I'm assuming that's what is going to happen.
Bayer comes out for Davenport, who will guard the inbound pass. Be 1 second. It's the clock worker still working to get the clock reset. Trojans take a 7-5 lead now in the girls' game. Last second heave by Maddox Dorman is no good. And now we're going to halftime. Halftime score, South Tama 32, Williamsburg 14. And we're going to jump over to our interview with the STC girls state wrestlers. We'll be back with the second half after this. All right, I'm joined by 3 of our first South Tama girls IGS HAU state qualifying wrestlers. Got Autumn Ellsbury, Maylee Ellsbury, Abigail Chima. First, I just want to say congrats to you guys and wonderful job on your season and qualifying for state. We're going to start first by just talking about how your regional meet went and how the qualifying run-up kind of played out for each of you and got you to that state qualification. So we're going to start here with Autumn. And Autumn, tell me what weight class you were at, and then tell me a little bit about your day last Thursday and Friday, was it? Yeah, so go ahead.
So I wrestle at 170. My first match, I was kind of nervous because that's one of your bigger matches, because if you lose that first one, then it's pretty hard to battle back and it'll be a long day.
Yeah.
So I ended up pinning my girl there. Then my second one, I just went out there, wrestled. That was a tougher match.
How did it end? Decision, fall? Was it a pin? What was it?
No, it was 0-6.
Okay.
So, or 6-0. And then my third one, I ended up pinning her in the first period. And then my last one, I was nervous because at the beginning of the year, that girl pinned me in the second period. But then I ended up going a full match to her, 0-3. So I improved.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what was your place at the end? You finished?
Second.
Second. How did the super regional competition feel compared to other tournaments that you've been in this year? Do you feel like the competition was tougher, the same? What was kind of the atmosphere like compared to the rest of the season?
It was a bigger facility, so it was, but I like wrestling in bigger facilities and with more people there, more people watching you. It's more nerve-wracking sometimes. The competition was about the same. It was a little bit tougher at the same time.
Yeah.
Just depends on which match you're talking about, I guess.
Yep. What went through your head the moment you knew we're going to state? You kind of crossed that goal off the list, at least for this season. What was your kind of reaction after you knew you had made that milestone?
It was pretty exciting. I've been looking forward to it. That was my goal, is to qualify, and then now I want to place. That's my next goal for this year. I feel like I'm pretty good. I'm sitting in a good spot right now.
You bet. All right, we're going to slide it down to Maylee here. So Maylee, talk us through your day. You came in, was it the 2nd seed?
1.
1 seed, okay. Walk me through how your super regional meet went.
Yeah, so I came in the 1 seed, so I had 2 buys right off the bat. So I had to wait. And my first match, pin in the first period. My second match, pin in the first period. After the second match, I knew I was qualifying for state because I was in the finals, but had bigger goals. I wanted to win it. In the finals, I had a girl that I beat like 3 weeks ago. I beat her 8-4. This time, I was able to beat her 14-2. So I opened it up a bit.
Do you feel like you had improved, or what do you feel like kind of happened differently in that match that got you the more dominant win compared to the previous one?
I think, yeah, I've improved, but like I went into it knowing that what I wanted, so I just wrestled the whole match. Even though I was up, I just kept wrestling smart and working for my turns and stuff. And
yeah, and you finished champion.
Yep.
In that.
Yes.
So both you and Abigail went to state last year with kind of the different format. How does this run up to state so far compare to what you experienced last year wrestling with boys and then kind of jumping over to a girls tournament?
It's different. Last year I was in a 64-person bracket, so there was obviously a lot more girls. The first matches weren't always necessarily state level girls. So this year it'll be different. Like I had to qualify, so I had to work a little bit more. It means a little bit more going, and knowing that I qualified, so it's the bracket's a little bit smaller, but it's going to be good competition right off the start from the first whistle.
What are you looking forward to coming up later this week as you head into the state tournament? What's going through your head? What are some of your goals? How are you kind of approaching this state meet this year?
I'm really excited for this state meet. I feel like I'm more excited than I was last year. I think just because that I had to qualify and I wrestled girls all season, so I know where I'm sitting. Going into it, I just need to take it one match at a time, but looking into it, the match I really want is the match I lost at conference in the semis, and my goal is to be in the finals and win it.
Awesome. All right, we're going to move it down here to Abigail. Abigail, tell us what weight class you were in, and then tell us a little bit about your experience at the Super Regional.
I wrestled at 155, and my first match of the day, I got pinned. So right off the bat, I was in survival mode, and I was getting really nervous because it's 2 and done. So my second match, I went into it. I knew it was going to be a longer day, but I won it. I pinned my girl in the first period, and then my next match, my girl came out really strong. I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know about this. But then I was in the match, and I was like, I can't lose this. So I took her down when she wasn't expecting it, and I pinned her. My next match, the girl came out strong again because we all want the same thing. But I ended up pinning her in the second period. She picked bottom, and I turned her in a wing. And then my next match, I had a rematch with my first girl. And I took her down. Everyone was going crazy, but she pushed herself out of bounds. So we went back to the circle. She escaped, and she put me in a headlock, and that's how she pinned me the first time. But I fought her off until the end, and then I did the same move in the second period, and I pinned her. My last match of the day, I lost it, but that previous match, that girl had won, so there was no wrestle back, so I knew I'd made it to state.
Wow. So Autumn talked earlier about the difficulty of having to kind of fight for your life after a loss in the first round. What was that experience like? And talk about when you knew you had made it to the end of it and you were going to advance. What was that feeling like at the end?
Well, throughout the whole day, it was really nerve-wracking. It was a lot of pressure. I knew that if I lost one more match, I was done. So I just had to keep going. I had to take it one match at a time. I couldn't really think about it. If I got too much in my head, I wouldn't have done so great. But once I knew I'd made it to state, once I beat my girl that I had a rematch with, that's when I knew I made it to state. And my dad was real hyped up, and we were all going crazy.
Yep. What are you working on this week as you've been preparing for the tournament coming up later in the week? Or are there parts of your game that you're trying to fine tune, or what's this practice been like since the tournament last week?
I'm working more defensively at the moment. I've been caught in some positions this year where we're focusing more on that for state.
Nice. Well, congratulations. We're going to swing it down here to the coaches, talk to them a little bit. We got Jason Arp, Danny Ellsbury. And can you guys just talk to me a little bit about the experience, head coaching a first-time program, and you're sending half your team to state. What's the reaction to just that kind of fact?
Well, my reaction is obviously proud of all the girls. You know, the other three that did not qualify still wrestled strong. You know, Addison Klink and Jamie Dolash still had chances there at the end. You know, to still qualify.
Yep.
They needed to win.
Tell me
that
a little
last
bit about
match.
their. Yeah, we didn't talk about the other three that were there.
Yep.
Fill me in a little bit about those three.
Yeah, so we had Taylor Johansson and Addison Klink and Jamie Dolash as well. So. You know, Taylor had a tough day, you know, being not a lot of wins this year, so she did not get a good seed, of course. So her day ended quick. She lost her first two matches and was out of the tournament. But Addison, I can't remember, she won her first one.
I think Addison won her first one, lost her second one.
Yeah, so then she was kind of on the ropes, but she kept winning. She kept battling. She came from behind in a couple matches and kept winning. It got down to that last match where she needed to win it, and she could have went, you know. And
Yeah, there would have been a wrestle back there.
Would have been a wrestle back, and I think she had a good chance. Now Jamie, same deal. She had a bye first round. I think even the second round she had a bye, so she was going straight to the quarters. But then she lost that match there. You know, if she would have won that match and got to the semi, she'd have been guaranteed to be in state. So she lost that quarterfinal match and then had to wrestle back. So she won her next one and then got into a position to needed her next match to then get into a wrestleback situation. Yeah. She lost that, unfortunately, but she, you know, as a freshman, Jamie, you know, had 30 wins this year. Yeah. That's pretty good. Addison was about 500, about 16 and 15, somewhere in there, and real proud of those girls. And now the three that did qualify wrestled strong all day long. I mean, that was just, you know, their experience, I think, you know, helped them through that day. Yeah. And then as a team, 26 teams at the tournament, we finished 10th as a team. Yeah. You know, that's pretty good.
With six
girls.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I'm super proud of them.
Yeah, you bet. And either of you can answer this one, or both of you if you like. Can you talk about the improvements that you've seen, maybe specifically about these three that are advancing on later this week? Where do you see them now compared to where they were at in the first part of the season or in the preseason before things got rolling?
Well, I feel like they've gotten way more aggressive. Abigail's stepped up here in the last 2 weeks, showed up to practice. A lot more of a hammer. She was kind of more laid back. She's always happy, smiley, Abigail. Right. She's still a happy, smiley Abigail, but she's bringing it. She's coming to practice, and she's laying it out there. Yeah. She started wrestling with more boys at practice, and I honestly think Maley and Autumn, that's where they're at, is because they practice with boys day in, day out, and that's going to push them. And so Abigail stepped in there about 2 weeks ago, and I honestly think that's what pushed her through last week. She wanted it, and all three of them wanted it. Yeah. And you dig deep, and that's what you want. They hit their goals. The other three, they're freshmen, new this year. They did well. Just hopefully we get them back out here again next year. I look for them to go to state. I mean, they all competed real well. The three that made it just dug a little deeper, and I think the boys really improved them.
Mm-hmm. What have you been working on with the team? How have you been getting this group prepared for the next kind of level of competition at this state meet and for kind of an ultimate goal at the end of this season? What's that preparation look like for this group?
Well, I would say right now we're just kind of fine-tuning. We're not adding any new technique, no new moves. You know, we're just kind of fine-tuning things that maybe we've seen at regionals that maybe were just a little bit off, or something we may have seen a couple weeks ago that was a little bit off. We're fine-tuning right now, working on our conditioning a little bit. I think we can push anybody a full 6 minutes, and you know, we're just kind of fine-tuning right now.
You bet.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much for the time. And the girls, congratulations to all those wrestlers for their accomplishments. Best of luck up in Coralville, and we'll be rooting for you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Welcome back live from the STC Round House. We are just underway in the third quarter here, about 7:20 to go left in the third. So what you've missed up to this point, Keith, run us down what we've had for
We
scoring so
had
far.
a free throw by Derek Weiskopf and a three-pointer by Maddox Dolman.
So a 36-14 lead for Williamsburg here to start the second half, or in the early going of the second half. Trojans with, there's a steal by Maddox Dorman. Fast break, Jepson from the left, and the finish at the rim. So for South Tama, they've got Lucius Bear, Cade Rosenberger, Pella Weiss, Jeremy Dolash, and Wyatt Capeu. Three-pointer by Bear, in and out. Dolash the rebound. Strong move underneath there by Jeremy, and he'll draw the foul.
Nice, strong offensive rebound by Jeremy Dolash, and he's able to show his strength there against this strong Williamsburg team there too.
Fouls on Kellen Cockrell, his first. Dolash off the mark on the first free throw. Cade Rosenberger to the bench for Ivan Alvarado. And the second one for Dolash goes through. First points of the half for STC. But they find themselves in a decent-sized hole here in the third. Dorman thought about a three again, went to O'Neal. Weiskopf in the lane, through traffic. He gets his own rebound after a loose ball. Now back out to O'Neal from the perimeter. No look pass to Jepson. Jepson tumbles into the lane, looking for the call, doesn't get it, and it will stay with the Raiders.
A lot of contact down there, but
yeah,
officials letting him play there. Trojans in a 2-3 zone.
Dorman open look for three. Weiskopf with contact and the bucket and the foul. Foul's going to go against Pella Weiss. Cockrell to the bench for Gavin Dorman. Dawson Furman checks in for Trey O'Neal. And one bucket is good for Weiskopf.
He's now up to 15. He's leading all scorers.
Alvarado with the point. Now Bear in the corner. Weiss. Guarded by Jepson. Three-pointer. Fade away. It's good. Pella Weiss. Much needed three-pointer.
Nice to see him hit one.
First field goal of the second half for the Trojans. Gavin Dorman. Shot's no good. The putback by Landon Jepson for two. 43-18. Williamsburg in control here in the third quarter. Capeu into the lane. Gets his own rebound. Now Alvarado for three.
Nice to see the Trojans get 2 threes down. I think that's what we needed to see out of halftime, just to see some three-pointers go down.
Yep. Blocking foul called against Lucius Bear. First personal against Bear. Third team foul for the Trojans. And so Williamsburg will take it out of bounds. Maddox Dorman to Derek Weiskopf. Long three for Weiskopf. Bounces hard off the rim. Bear the rebound. And Capeu, guarded by Dorman. Gets it to Weiss. Alvarado thought about a 3. Gets it out to Dolash.
A lot of standing around.
Trojans without. There's a 3-pointer by Ivan Alvarado.
A little desperation with the shot clock running down, but doesn't matter.
Yeah, hard to argue when they're going in.
Yep.
And Trojans get the long distance attack going here in the third.
That possession just seemed like probably the worst one of the night for the Trojans. There was no movement at all, and they were just standing around. A little confused probably on the play call, but it didn't matter. So,
just like to see, and in that case, we had both Weiss and Rosenberger on the bench for South Tama, and so you'd like to have a little more solid ball handler. I don't know that I would call Bear much, at the same level as Alvarado and Rosenberger. Like to see them on the court at the same time if possible. But we'll be right back after this. It's a timeout on the court. We'll be right back.
MarkWest Law Office in Toledo is a proud Trojan Country sponsor and supporter of STC activities. Attorney Mike MarkWest and the staff at MarkWest Law Office are here to help during life's most challenging moments. The attorneys at MarkWest Law specialize in a variety of areas, including family law, criminal defense, real estate, and civil litigation. With a growing staff of legal professionals, there's a good chance MarkWest Law can handle your case. MarkWest Law. We care, we listen, we can help. Call 641-484-1001 or visit tamalaw.com for more.
Coming back out of the timeout, South Tama trailing 43-24 here in this boys varsity matchup. Quick update from the girls game. Just before halftime, the Raiders leading 30-7 in what is shaping up to be a blowout against the Raiders on their home court. Here's Derek Weiskopf grinding his way through traffic underneath the hoop and finishing at the rim for 2.
It was a great defense by the Trojans. They double-teamed Derek Weiskopf down low, but it didn't matter. He just used his size and strength to just move Wyatt Capeyu out of the way and just lay it in with ease.
Here's South Tama in the half court now. Kingston Davenport trying to dump it off to Bear. And Bear, just the timing off, goes out of bounds. And Dorman walks up the court for the Raiders. 21-point lead here for the Raiders. You might see some second unit starting to filter in maybe as we get closer to the fourth. There's a steal by Ivan Alvarado, one-on-one against Furman, and he finishes at the bucket and the foul.
Alvarado has been the spark for the Trojans on offense in the third quarter. All 8 of his points coming since the start of the second half, and that was a great read on the anticipating the pass and just using his body to create the foul, and that was just a really nice basketball play there.
So somewhat of a second unit coming onto the court for Williamsburg. They've got 2 starters out there still, and there's the bucket, the and 1 free throw from Ivan Alvarado. They've got O'Neill and Cockrell with a platoon of Grant Hawker, Race Heitman, and Gavin Dorman. As it's well within a double-digit lead for Williamsburg late in the third. They're trying their best to move the ball. Capeyu knocks it out of bounds, trying to hustle for a steal.
I really like seeing South Tama anticipating the pass, getting tips. They've had a few really nice tips on defense all night, and
3-pointer by Trey O'Neill is good. His first triple of the night. Now South Tama, Dolash from the high post to Alvarado. Screen from Dolash. Alvarado into the lane against Cockrell. Nothing happening there. Cockrell alters the shot, and the ball just falls to the Raiders down their half court. And it'll be a foul underneath the hoop for the Raiders. 2 shots coming for Race Heitman, the 6-foot sophomore guard. And it'll be the second personal against Pella Weiss. 4th team foul for the Trojans. And Heitman, no good on the first. Here comes Cade Rosenberger into the game for Pella Weiss. Heitman, no good on the second. Capello the rebound. Trojans back into the half court. Minute to go. 3-pointer from Alvarado. He's had 2 already. This one's no good. Heitman the rebound for Williamsburg. Now O'Neal up in the half court. Hawker back to O'Neal. Open look. 3-pointer is good. He's got 2. Kind of back-to-back almost. 51-27. The lead nearing 30. Alvarado draws a double team, and it'll be a 3-point attempt for Wyatt Capello. Hard off the rim, rebound to the Raiders. And they're back into the half court. O'Neal from 3. Again, this one not there. Hawker the rebound. Long 3 at the buzzer.
He got blocked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We go into the 4th quarter. Williamsburg leading 51-27. We'll be right back after a break. You're listening to Trojan Country.
As partners in the community, Salt Creek Wind Project is committed to supporting Tama County's growth in a way that benefits all residents. Construction on the project will bring hundreds of new opportunities for Tama County's workforce and will allow workers to gain valuable, transferable skills. Hundreds of millions of dollars in tax revenue generated by the project will help improve county services such as schools, roads, and emergency response. And the clean, emission-free power generated will support a more reliable delivery system in the county and beyond. To learn more about Salt Creek Wind or to join our coalition of supporters, visit saltcreekwindproject.com.
Some announcements coming from the Iowa Girls Athletic Union. The regional pairings were announced today for classes 1A, 2A, and 3A. And so we know where South Tama will be headed for their playoff game. This is the girls' varsity team now. South Tama will be taking on Vinton-Shellsburg on Saturday, February 11th. That'll be at 7 p.m. at Vinton-Shellsburg High School. We look to have that game live from you. It'll be an audio-only game over in Vinton. But we should have that call live from Vinton-Shellsburg. So that's going to be South Tama, Vinton-Shellsburg in the first round of the girls' Class 3A playoffs. The boys yet to be announced, probably another week or so before we'll hear where the boys will be headed. There's a missed jumper by Derek Weiskopf on the Williamsburg trip down the court. Trojans back with the ball in their half court now. Davenport, Capello, Bear, Alvarado, and Rosenberger into the game. And there's Capello going up to the rim for 2.
And a steal.
Alvarado to Davenport, back to Alvarado. Steal by Heitman for the Raiders. And here comes Maddox Dorman bringing the ball up for Williamsburg into the corner. Back out to Dawson Furman. Down low to Weiskopf, backs down Capeu, passes it back out to Furman. Open look for Maddox Dorman. Three-pointer, not there. Alvarado the rebound for South Tama. Opening moments of this fourth quarter. A spin move there from Kingston Davenport. Couldn't quite get the bucket at the end.
Davenport never really got his night going. He has been really quiet. He hasn't scored at all tonight, and that's just something we need him to later down the stretch, just to have a better quality game from him.
The rotations definitely feel a little strange. There's a three-pointer by Landon Jepson.
Yes, and the rotations can factor into altering the way that he is able to establish himself into a game. And
Alvarado, little athletic move at the baseline. He gets his own miss, goes back. Jumper underneath the hoop is good for two.
It's a nice pump fake. He got two Raiders in the air who are just trying to establish a block shot.
Strong second half from Ivan Alvarado. And again, another player that had not much going in the first half. Weiskopf again for two. He's going to have a monster night. .507 to go, fourth quarter. Wyatt Capeu with the ball, guarded by Landon Jepson. Spin move from Capeu. Air ball, picked up by Weiskopf.
Great defense by Jepson, and just a little bit of a poor shot choice by Wyatt Capeu.
Rebound by Cade Rosenberger. Little mouse in the house underneath the basket there for Cade. Staying athletic, and the jumper by Alvarado. Gets the crowd to react a little bit. 56-33. And Weiskopf just thundering through the lane. And it'll be a timeout for Williamsburg. We'll be back after this.
If you believe in capturing meaningful moments, you've made it to the right place. The Farmer's Daughter Photography and TFD Films are a proud supporter of Trojan Country and South Tama County activities. Located near Conrad, the Farmer's Daughter Photography and TFD Films offer an array of photo and video services, including family photos, newborns, kids and seniors, weddings, and commercial media. Check them out on the web at tfdphoto.com or on Facebook and Instagram to learn more. Trojan Country fans, come on down to The Pump, Tama Toledo's #1 bar and grill. Located in downtown Tama at 218 West 3rd Street, The Pump serves up cold drinks, a warm atmosphere, and an amazing lunch on the regular. Check out the Tama Pump on Facebook for regular lunch and drink specials, as well as details on their latest events.
Coming back out of the timeout here, South Tama trailing 58-33. Quick update for you from the girls' game. They are back in the start of the third quarter, early third quarter. Williamsburg girls leading South Tama 31-7. I believe it is regional duels night for wrestling teams across the state, and I think Williamsburg's hosting. When I tuned in to their broadcast, they're in a gym that I didn't recognize, and they must be in their secondary gym tonight, where I bet they've got wrestlers in the main gym. Foul on South Tama as the ball makes it up the Williamsburg half court. It's going to be the third personal against Wyatt Capeu, non-shooting foul. Still mostly starters in the game for Williamsburg. Or, well, no, I won't say that. There's a couple starters and some second unit players. Another foul at the basket. This time it'll be Rosenberger picking up the foul. 16 fouls now for the Trojans with 4 minutes to go. as Race Heitman makes his first point of the night from the free throw line. And he makes the second. Lucius Bear, guarded by Furman. Hands it off to Alvarado. And Bear called for traveling.
Must have dragged that pivot foot when he was looking to pass. Once again, there's just not a whole lot of movement there from the Trojan offense, and that's what happens. It leads to turnovers.
Yep. 3:30 to go left in the fourth quarter. Williamsburg has been in control the entire way. They've had an above-average night for Derek Weiskopf. He's already, I think he was at 21 when we last checked. He's averaging just over 17 per game. Raiders taking their time moving the ball around here a little bit. This time it's a steal by Alvarado, getting it away from Hawker. Alvarado against Cockrell.
Whoa.
Underhanded reverse layup for two. Sweet looking move there from the senior Ivan Alvarado. And you think, where was this player in the first half?
And a block.
And a block against Cockrell. Alvarado giving up about 3 or 4 inches from the junior from Williamsburg and getting aggressive in the paint.
I don't know how Ivan was able to get that ball. He was like completely behind the backboard, and he still was able to just throw it up and
Out of bounds call on the South Tama side. Rosenberger, jumper off the mark. And again, we haven't really seen Daniel Weiss. He had a strong, came out with 7 points early in the first quarter. Kind of went quiet after that. I don't even know that he's taken the court here.
I was just about to say, I don't think he's ever been in the second half.
Three-pointer for Hawker, no good. Tipped out of bounds by Dolash. More reserves coming in for Williamsburg. It'll be Micah Geringer checking in for the Raiders. Dawson Furman to the bench. Just under 2 minutes to go. And a foul. Trojans into the single bonus now, so 1-1 for Kellen Cockrell. Fouls against Jeremy Dolash, his second.
What I liked seeing tonight was the Trojans did not get into the single and double bonuses in the first half until just now late in the game, and they limited their fouls. And I think right now what we're seeing is just a little bit of fatigue setting in a little bit.
Fatigue and frustration.
Yep. Didn't catch who that was off 15.
So on the loose ball after the missed free throw a moment ago, Gavin Dorman went up, drew a foul against Kingston Davenport. The miss on the free throw, Cockrell the rebound, and now Cockrell gets fouled. So we've had 3 straight fouls before we get out of the South Tama, or get out of the Williamsburg half court here. Fourth personal against Capeu. Dorman and Hawker to the bench. John Eichhorn. There's a free throw by Cockrell. John Eichhorn, Grayson Dorman, and who else do we have out there? We have Bryson Wetjen also into the game.
So all subs for, it looks like, both teams.
Trojans sub out most of their lineup. Ian Vore, Curtis Kiana, John Ebersol, and Caden Tim into the game to finish out the last minute and a half. Kiana the shot.
And it hit the, I believe it hit the top of the backboard there.
Geringer for three. Air ball. Steal by Tim. Under a minute to go. .42 seconds to go.
Oh.
And it goes out of bounds. It'll go to Williamsburg. .23 seconds left on the clock. Trojans with the ball. Kiana down low. Tim back to Kiana. 13 seconds. And it's good. Curtis Kiana from the baseline. Final score, South Tama moves to 2-15, 63-37, the final score here at the Roundhouse. Quick update from the girls' game over in Williamsburg. South Tama trailing in that one 45-16. They are at the under a minute to go left in the third quarter. And so that's the update from the girls' side. Next up for the Raiders, they are going to head to Vinton-Shellsburg on Friday, and then on Monday, they are going to Washington for a non-conference matchup with the Demons. On Friday, South Tama will face off against Clear Creek Amana. The boys go to Clear Creek Amana, and the girls will be at home. We'll have the home game live from the STC Round House here on Trojan Country. Then on next Tuesday, it'll be Benton against South Tama. I believe the boys are home, the girls are away in that one. And I'm going to throw it over to Keith if he can give us some unofficial scoring stats for this one tonight.
So for South Tama, leading the way was Ivan Alvarado with 15. They were all in the second half, and he had a strong showing in the second half there. We'd like to see that the entire game, though, however, moving forward. Next was Daniel Weiss with 7. Those are the first 7 points of the night for the Trojans, and after that, kind of just disappeared. And Wyatt Cabeyu had 4. Cade Rosenberger, Pella Weiss, and Jamie Dolash all had 3. And at the end, Curtis Kiana with a bucket at the end for 2 points.
All right.
For Williamsburg, Derek Weisskopf led the way with 21. Landon Jepson 13. Kellen Cockrell was 7. Maddox Daherman was 6. Trey O'Neill with 5. Gavin Daherman with 4. Grant Hawker with 3, and Race Hyman with 2.
So the Raiders get the sweep against South Tama as the WaMaC regular season marches on. And Trojans just looking for continuity, but that was not something it really felt like South Tama had tonight. Things felt pretty disjointed in a lot of places. And again, some some incredible moments from Ivan Alvarado in the second half. But those kind of coming on one-on-one plays, some scoring, and it's got to be more of a group movement. And then there were possessions too where South Tama was able to stay in system a little bit and continue their offense, move the ball a little bit. But as you said throughout the game, off the ball movement was a struggle. Any final thoughts about tonight's game for you, Keith?
I think moving forward, the Trojans will need to work on their offensive sets and just continue to learn to move without the ball. And well, as we saw tonight, when they were doing that, there was a lot of success, and when they weren't doing that, it was followed by a lot of turnovers and fast break opportunities for Williamsburg. So, but on defense, I think boxing out is going to be key moving forward as we get closer to postseason, and we'll see a tough draw in the postseason against probably some height advantaged teams, and boxing out is going to be key moving forward for them on defense. But overall, I think they're doing a really nice job being active on the defensive side and doing some nice things on both sides, but a lot of cleaning up to do on both sides as well. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So we will wish our girls wrestlers headed to state later in the week best of luck, and say also thank you to our sponsors for this winter season: Crazy Phillips Funeral Home, Salt Creek Wind, State Bank of Toledo, Sharn Weber's, Mark West and Hoyer Law Office, S&S Car Wash, Medicap Pharmacy, Iowa Premium, Mercy Care Tama, and the Tama Pump. So thanks for being with us this evening. Real quick, we'll get one more check-in with the girls' game before we sign off. Score over there, 47-16 with 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. So thanks for being with us. We will see you on Friday here at South Tama for the CCA girls game. And until then, have a great rest of the week. For Keith Kiana, I am Darvin Graham, and we'll see you next time.